Faith McMass here, vlog number 4. It's been a couple weeks since posting a vlog, but it's about time. It's definitely about time because so much has happened and so much is about to happen. More particularly, I gave my second speech, which I know you all want to see. So stay tuned to this video because at the end will be the speech. Well, part of the speech. My computer decided to stop recording halfway through, so you get half a speech today. I'm not going to tell you the contents of the rest of the speech because my desire is to keep my speech, work on it, tweak it, and present it again later. So you'll have to wait many vlogs later to see the end of the speech. And that means you should subscribe and stay tuned and keep watching. Since I haven't been with you all, I've had about 2 meetings. This would be the third meeting since the last vlog. The 2 meetings were pretty normal, I guess you would say, normal club affairs, and I'm learning more how the club works. I'm learning more about my club's culture, learning more how everybody within the club organizes themselves and communicates, and all that's important for the club to work effectively, especially since I took on an officer role. With that said, whenever you get into a group of people, learning how people work and communicate is so important. It's part of the Toastmasters journey as well. So I feel like I'm getting the whole experience now, and that's exciting. That's so exciting. Along with that, I am, like I mentioned last vlog, I am secretary and treasurer of my club, Garland Communicators Club, through Toastmasters. So tomorrow I go to TLI, which is a conference where I get training on how to effectively be a secretary in my club, how to effectively be a treasurer in my club, and I'll also learn some other aspects of being an officer overall. I'm really excited about that. I'll get to network some people in the area. It's actually going to be in Lindale, Texas, so I have to do a little bit of a commute, but who doesn't mind a little road trip? And I'll bring back information. I'll do another blog. I'm hoping that my experience there will allow me to answer some of the questions that I've kind of presented to you all and have myself. I would like to really lay out more of the details about Toastmasters and how it works, how Pathways works. And so if it's something you're interested in, you can feel a little more educated on what you're getting yourself into. I'm learning as I go. I'm realizing not everybody has the answers anyways, so I'm kind of having to piece together the answers. So bear with me, and I'll bring all that back and share it with you all in the next vlog. So where's the counter when you need one? And so's everywhere. And so's everywhere. Let's use another one instead. Now, I would like to share with you some details about the speech that you're about to watch. This is my second speech. In my second speech, I'm supposed to focus on correcting things from the first speech. If you haven't seen the first speech, then go back to vlog number 3 and watch the first speech. My goal in this speech was to correct several things, but my main goal was to write an outline and go according to the outline. Have a start, a middle, an end, strong start, body, strong finish. You won't get to see the finish. It was weak, could have been stronger. It's a challenge for me to actively do an outline and then follow the outline in a speeching, that presentation. That's a challenge for me. So I'm hoping to work on this more and more throughout my Toastmasters/Pathways journey. And I want you all to be a part of that, so stay tuned. Every speech you give, you have an evaluator. Someone in the club that's in the audience that gets a form with specifics towards the type of speech you're giving, and they evaluate you and give you feedback. This is very important. Not everybody videotapes like I do, where I can see what I need to work on. It's good to hear also what the audience thinks. The director for the area director was actually in our club meeting today, and she sent me a little note after my speech with some pointers. Her perspective was actually a little different than my evaluator's perspectives. That's the fun thing about an audience, is there's a whole variety of perspectives on how you're giving your speech. That's really good to know, and the reason that's really good to know, because if I'm going to grow and become an amazing public speaker, what I need to learn is not just what one person's saying, not just what I'm feeling, but what a crowd of people are experiencing and feeling along with my own feelings. And this is important for my development. It's important for, I believe, anybody's speech development. and I'm enjoying that aspect of this journey. So without further ado, here I bring to you my speech titled, Guilt and Shame Are Not the Same. Okay. Guest, director, fellow Toastmasters, thank you, Toastmaster Martha. Today my speech is titled, Guilt and Shame Are Not the Same. This is a public service announcement. Just in case you didn't know, guilt and shame are not the same. In my personal journey, I've been working on enriching myself through researching different emotions. I started focusing on shame in particular. In my research on shame, I came across a conclusion that I did not have prior to. It is that guilt and shame are not the same. They're so much not the same that these two emotions are different places in your mind when you experience them. So, National Institute for Clinical Application of Behavioral Medicine defines guilt, healthy guilt, unhealthy guilt, and shame as such. Healthy guilt is a psychological discomfort, something we've done that is objectively wrong. For example, Mark hit someone driving drunk and he feels guilty. Unhealthy guilt. A psychological discomfort when you've done something against an unrealistically high standard. For example, Susan forgot a club member's name and feels terribly guilty about it. Shame. Shame is an intensely painful feeling of being fundamentally flawed. Example, John feels worthless and a waste of oxygen. So why do we experience these various states of emotions? Well, healthy guilt is an action or behaviors that break objective definitions of right and wrong. When you break a right and wrong, maybe it be a law right and wrong, a social right and wrong, or your own convictions and values right and wrong, you have this opportunity to ask forgiveness and correct it. Therefore, it's the healthy guilty. The unhealthy guilty is as such. Actions or behaviors that break unrealistically high standards. These standards are often set by self, peers, family, friends, society as a whole. When we break social standards of this nature, we often go into a state of self-punishment. We seek to punish ourselves, staying in this rut of thought. For example, if I accidentally forget someone's name, I will think on it all day long, how I made a mistake. I'll just mentally beat myself up. This is actually unhealthy guilt. Shame. Listen closely. Shame. Self-identifying as being worthless or inherently defective. Shame causes us to fear. And in that fear, we try to avoid any situation that may feel negative or cause shameful feelings. This causes us to disconnect from others, to avoid situations. When we experience this kind of shame, it often leads for some to experience mental health problems, to develop maladaptive coping mechanisms, bad behavioral habits. Also, it is directly correlated with abuse, depression, abuse, depression, addiction, eating disorders, suicide, directly correlated shame. Indirectly correlated is unhealthy guilt. So what is the value of knowing the differences here? What's the value of it? The value of knowing the difference is if we learn our inner world, we can be more effective in our outer world, correct? Understanding the value allows us to start working on how to respond to these different emotions. Learning that creates self-awareness. Understanding the differences allows us to connect deeper with each other, allows us to be a more authentic version of ourselves. Understanding the difference allows us to find where there is shame, guilt, healthy guilt in our life, evaluate it, and create a more, how do you say it? Halcyon life, that is.